Well, I'll go ahead and dive in then. John Pinkster, one of the lead engineers here at Maestro. Been building Mighty with y'all for a while. Hopefully, a lot of you are in Maestro community, where we talk a lot about all fun Mighty things and even more broadly, just fun instructional design tips and tricks and strategy chats and all sorts of fun learning initiatives that you got going on over there. So if you're not in Maestro community, feel free to join that as well. I'm sure Sid will drop a link in for anyone not in there. Love jumping in, answering any questions that come up in that space. But we pulled together this monthly meetup just because we know a lot of you are new and discovering Mighty. And as we are really just starting to scratch the surface on what Mighty can do, we wanted to pull a meetup together and really treat it more like a meetup style. So feel free to unmute as we get into Q&A or drop in questions as we go along the way because we'd love to hear from you all. You'll find out quick that we love hearing from users of Mighty and hearing ideas and implementing ideas. So super glad you're all here. For anyone interested in watching any of these after the fact, we also do post these in Maestro community as well as on our YouTube channel. So lots of fun videos out on our YouTube channel as well. So just started this up this year with the Mighty Meetups. This is our third rendition of that. So super excited. We try to do fourth Tuesdays of the month because as an example, next month we'll get weird with there's technically 5 Tuesdays. So we're going to be on next meeting up April 22nd. But so yeah, fourth Tuesdays. Super excited to talk about Mighty features. Hopefully a lot of you guys saw the note this time. We're not really going to reveal too much on new Mighty features because I want to dive more deeper into some of our existing Mighty functionality. We've got our friend Kimberly here for our community spotlight, and she's going to really help demystify some fun things that she's been working on, as well as we'll roll into our normal Q&A, open that up to any questions that maybe you've got for her or just in general to the Mighty team. And then last but not least, really just walk through a product demo and just kind of give a high level overview of what Mighty can do with your Articulate Rise course. So to talk about new crossed out Mighty features, like I had mentioned, we didn't really want to spend a lot of time today talking about new Mighty features. There's a lot in the works in regards to new blocks that we're creating and enhancements to rich text editors and performance enhancements. And so really just want to kind of talk more high level about general Mighty features that we're working on. So just a quick high touch on performance, and then I want to really talk about the interactive HTML blocks and really hopefully open up the door to a lot of you guys feeling more comfortable in building custom interactives. But really first, performance issues. I'll be curious if any of you who have experienced potential performance issues when you start to use Mighty, maybe you start to feel like Rise really got slow on you. I would love to kind of throw that out as you're not alone. We have heard from several people who start kind of using Mighty and really just, yeah, that melt emoji is what you end up doing in your chair while you're waiting for Rise to load. Maybe a lot of you don't experience it, but certainly a handful have reached out about that issue. And so I do want to say that that's something that our team's been really digging into. I'm hopefully this week and through maybe not next week because I'm out on vacation, but over the next couple of weeks, we'll really get a lot of these performance enhancements out the door. But would love to chat more with you. So if you want to reach out to me either again directly in MC or shoot me an email, Sid, if you don't mind dropping my email address in here as well. Love to get in contact with you and see if potentially this fix that we've got pending, ready to go out, could potentially resolve some of your issues. So something that we love to do is just really stay in contact with our users and get on calls and figure out exactly what's going on. So would love to get in contact with anyone there. So enough on the performance thing. Again, hopefully a lot of you don't feel that, but do want to address that and call that out in case if anyone's got anything, any fun insights they could share. But I want to spend some time and energy today really spending time with our friend ChatGPT and building custom interactives. So let's go ahead and talk about this course that we've got here. And a lot of you may have leveraged the interactive HTML block, or maybe scared to leverage it just because you're not really sure what all you can do. So what I really want to do is just kind of spend the first like 10 minutes or so in this meeting to kind of just like walk through live demo and build up an interactive with us via ChatGPT. So here's a fun course that we've got. It's just like an internal demo course that we've been using to kind of build up some fun Mighty features. And really what I want to do is put myself in your guys' shoes as instructional designers, and build out a custom interactive. Like let's say at this point in my course, I really kind of want the learner to pause at this point and go through like a fun scenario type interaction, but I don't want to use the built-in Rise scenario. And I really don't want to go and build this all out in a storyline, and then import the storyline block in because, as we know, like storyline isn't super responsive without a lot of work, or even potentially at all. And so with the Mighty blocks of this interactive HTML, like we've been hearing people talk about how super powerful it is, but I'm scared to get in it. Like I just don't know what to do. So again, hopefully this little session helps kind of like walk through ways that you could leverage this interactive HTML block. So with this interactive HTML block, really what you're able to do, and again, we've got YouTube videos on this, is build up any HTML, CSS, JavaScript, like single page type application and drop it into your Rise course at any point of your lessons that you've got. Some people have built out full blown like chat bot type interaction experiences. We're going to see in a community spotlight a couple of other experiences where we're just going to display content differently. There's all sorts of ways that you could leverage this. And again, all we need to do is just build up some HTML. Now, let's pretend I'm not a developer. I'm more in your shoes and I just want to get something built up. So what I want to show off is just with something like a ChatGPT, Claude, other AI experiences, really, how could you guys go about building a interactive experience that would allow you to uh, kind of build what you had envisioned without actually writing any code. So we're going to live demo and see how this goes. So I kind of wrote up a little bit of like a pre-example here. So I have a sleeping course that I'm creating in Articulate Rise. Oops. Um, and I want to create a fun interactive scenario knowledge check based on good sleeping habits. For my situation, I'm just going to say like, start with examples. Like I'm not going to feed it any information. Certainly for you guys, coming from the instructional design world, you probably have specific thoughts, ideas on what you would want it to present. So you can feed it a lot of that really rich information. We're going to be delivering this via Rise. I don't know if it's just because I'm one of the Mighty developers, but it knows about the Mighty Chrome extension, so I can say that. I'm delivering it as a custom interactive HTML that I can just drop into Rise. Let's throw that prompt out and let's see what shows up. Fun live demo experience. Let's see how this goes. So it's going to come up with some knowledge checks. Cool. Some questions that we've got here. Recommended hours of sleep, A through D, C being correct. A couple more questions, some true, false. Cool. So this is coming up with some good ideas. I'm totally fine with that. Let's let this thing finish out the rest of the questions. Hopefully it'll stop here at 5. Okay, we'll let it keep going. All right, cool, nice. So we've got these questions to create this interactive scenario. Yep, we can implement this with custom HTML to do this. Perfect. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's create some HTML and JavaScript to make this happen. Just kind of conversationally chatting with ChatGPT, and let's see what it comes up with. So it's going to go through and create out some HTML for us here, hopefully here in a second. Yep, perfect. Builds out some HTML. What we'll be able to do is once this HTML gets built out is we can actually flip into their canvas mode, which then allows us to actually play with this right here in ChatGPT. We can see what it looks like. We can make modifications along the way. Yep, I'm actually seeing some colors potentially thrown in here. That's another follow-up that I could do is like, hey, here's my brand guidelines, my typography I'm using, my color schemes that I'm using, and really just kind of like feed it all this additional information. But as you'll see, it's just like going through nice and slowly. I wish it was faster. Building up all my HTML. We'll just kind of let this run through. I do see a couple of people in the chat also calling out like building, yeah, several interactions using Claude AI. That's awesome. Um, yeah, just it's really fun to be able to build out a lot of these things right here in ChatGPT. Another fun thing that our team's been doing, I guess, while I'm letting this thing run is there's interactive development tools, environments that you can build locally, IDEs. One of them's called Cursor. VS Code is another one that you could use and download on your machine and build up. Cursor is kind of a fun one that our team's been playing with as of late that really helps you build up um, whole applications on your laptop versus kind of up here in the cloud with ChatGPT. The downside of ChatGPT a little bit is that it really just kind of builds up, as we saw here, all of the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript all within a singular file. But what's fun about something like a Cursor, the IDE for that, is that it can actually separate out all those files and gives you a lot more granular control. And that's where you can also tap into more of the Claude AI or some of the other AI models. And it looks like there was a network hiccup. So that is great. Well, we've got some HTML here. Let me go ahead and copy this. What I want to do is I want to actually maybe just pull this over to my local machine. Trying to remember, there's a way that I can just flip this into the canvas mode without this thing getting done. If anyone could help me in the chat window. Otherwise, my development self tends to just build up a folder locally here on my desktop. We'll create a folder here. I'm going to drop this into what I was talking about earlier, that Cursor app. We can make this index.html file. I'm going to paste that in here and save that. And then what we can do is we can just open up this index.html file. Oh, nice. Perfect. And this is kind of what ChatGPT came up with. Um, Flip to canvas mode. Let's just see what that does. Nice. Hopefully this just flips over pretty easy. Oh, dang it. This is actually going to do something else that I don't want it to do. So canvas is like a HTML canvas that actually we don't want to do that. So no, live demo. I'm struggling here. uh, Dang. All right, so let's undo this. We don't want this. Bad response. Let's go back to uh
Hey,
maybe
Pinkster, if you hit the context menu on the chat next to deep research and
uh,
it's just in your chat bubble.
oh yeah, this guy.
Oh, usually there's canvas. I don't know if you can do canvas with 4.0 mini. You might need to switch your model
Hmm. Yeah,
up at
interesting.
the top right. There's some
Yeah,
that I think don't have canvas.
4.0 mini. Yeah, interesting. Okay.
So that should be in the
Yeah,
context
yeah,
menu.
yeah. Here we go. Edit mode.
Yeah, there you go.
Hey, thank you. All right, perfect. So hey, good chat there. So I was in mini mode versus 4.0 mode. So thanks for that. I forgot that I did flip that over earlier. So once I got into 4.0 mode, then I was able to flip into this canvas mode where actually then we're able to preview, kind of go through the interaction, see our results, etc. So basically what I would do from here, now that I've got this experience, you can just really go back and forth with it and just have it modify all sorts of things. Like, let's just show one question at a time. Um,
Make sure you flip off that deep research or you're going to get a crazy response too.
yeah, thanks. So let's show one question at a time, and this will go through and fix all of our HTML, updating all of that to just show really one singular question as we go through. And really just kind of go back and forth. I don't want to steal too much time before we run out of time for Kimberly to chat, but just really kind of going back and forth here and kind of massaging out what we've got within this ChatGPT window, previewing it here in Canvas. And then really the last thing that I wanted to show is like once you get this thing into a good spot and you're done, another feature that you may have noticed with in Mighty's interactive HTML is this autocomplete. So like if you have a continue button that you want to place after this to prevent the learner from going on, you can turn off this autocomplete feature. And then what you could do is you can also instruct ChatGPT is that once they get through the interaction to fire off this JavaScript, which will then mark the interaction as complete. It's like basically when you go through the show results. So we're going to go through, let's see this. Yep, we've got this first one, see results. And that see results page isn't necessarily showing, but that's okay. For time purposes, let me just jump ahead to say, all right, we just basically need to take all this code that you've created and package it as an HTML or index.html file so that we can upload it to Mighty. And then what this should do is this should give you a link that right here in ChatGPT just downloads that file for you. So earlier when I was floundering, I created this folder and created a file, and I don't anticipate you guys to be able to do that necessarily, but you should be able to just ask ChatGPT to actually just make this file for you. And then you can click this and it will download the file or it'll fail. It actually did that for me the other day when I was testing this idea. So that link failed. Try again. Um, and this will actually hopefully create me a downloadable link. That gets fixed. Ultimately, it'll just download an index.html file because I do want to show you the last step of like, okay, cool. Once we get that, how do we actually get that into our Rise course? So hopefully this works here in a second. Again, I don't want to take up too much time. Let me just let me just cheat for a second. Let me go ahead and save that locally. Okay, perfect. Well, let's just pretend that it downloaded this file just to move on. Once we've got this file here, if you just right click on it and then compress on a Mac, or you basically we just need to zip it up on a Windows machine. And then once you have this index.html file, you can just go right back into your Rise course and we'll go to our desktop. We'll go into the scenario, upload this index.html file. We can remove this border and voila, there is our interactive. So all sorts of fun things that you can do. Obviously going back and forth with ChatGPT to get that refined based on what you need. But just hopefully that helps demystify a little bit of like, how can I build a custom interactive? How could I leverage this interactive HTML? Uh, on the spot, I felt a little nervous, but in my nice room alone, working through all these issues on my own, certainly would be able to get through and kind of have it build up me a fun interactive. Again, feeding it all of your fun instructional design ideas and just working through ChatGPT on that.
I think there were a couple of questions or comments about how this would be a great tutorial on YouTube. So I just wanted to say we do have a video out about that, but I actually I think we'll probably do a few more with different interactions because the variety and actually showcasing when you run into hiccups is probably really helpful for troubleshooting as much as it is uncomfortable. So
Totally.
we'll probably record some more for you guys so that like you can see how to help troubleshoot when you run into little things like that.
Yep. Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, that was fun. I do want to just based on time switch over to Kimberly because I know Kimberly, you've done a lot of fun things with ChatGPT and Claude and building out fun interactives. So I would love to hand things over to you and have you kind of showcase some of the things that you've been building and talking through some of your experiences.
Thank you, John. I'm excited, a little intimidated because it sounds like all of you have a lot of experience playing with some of it. I will share my screen. So I've been using not Claude, sorry. Well, I do use Claude. I have been using Mighty since about September. So I like to think of myself as kind of an early adopter, but really having a lot of fun with it. And there's just so many cool things you can do to make Rise not feel like Rise. Um, uh, like putting a little background around there, making the buttons look cool. But one of the things I really enjoy is I really enjoy the HTML block and have had a lot of fun there. Do you see my screen, John?
Yep. Yeah,
Okay, cool. I thought I'd start here because the resume, everyone is working on building a portfolio of what they've built using Storyline, Rise, their instructional design portfolio. I had a little bit of fun. I actually stripped out some of the other things just to show you the resume portion, but I had a little fun making my resume slightly more interactive. Here, this is actually all just HTML and CSS. So this isn't the custom Mighty blocks, but getting a little bit of animated. These are just bullet points. And coming down here, there's different ways to show it. But here in this custom HTML block, I wanted to showcase some of my skills, but a lot of times the skills get really just like this long list. And I thought, oh, there's got to be a way to make this more exciting, more engaging. So I added this little filter thing here and just wanted it to be very mobile responsive. And let's see if I can grab it. And so one of the nice things that Storyline does not offer that these HTML blocks do is that mobile responsiveness aspect, where it will respond and look good on any size of screen. And so that's just one of the random interactions that I did just to make my resume look good in my portfolio. And wanted to showcase that. Then here is actually one of the courses that I did. I pulled through. I thought I had cut out the name there. Oops, I didn't. But really wanted to highlight some of the things. Again, this is just HTML in text with an image background. Wow. I am nervous. And so again, just making sure that it is responsive. For some reason that it matters to me. I don't know why. I come with a graphic design, web design background. So perhaps it's been drilled into me.
So Kimberly, for that block, is that using the Mighty Interactive HTML block, or is it a Rise block that you've customized?
It's just a Rise block that I've customized. It's just a text thing. And I put different styles around it. So I wanted to have the blue and the red block at the ends and do that. Honestly, I uploaded a picture of what I wanted it to look like at the end state and into Claude and HTML or ChatGPT. Sometimes I'll go between the two depending. And said, hey, help me create this so that it does this. And I have the ability to edit the HTML and CSS here. And it gave me a lot of it. Some I tweaked after to get it exactly how I wanted it, but added in just here are the colors, here's the fonts, here's what I wanted, and was able to get just a simple HTML snippet that I put in there. So I think it's just a class name around the text And then in the custom CSS, I added all the styles in there.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's cool.
And then continuing on, sometimes just having a little bit more animation is what I wanted. And that's why this is in here. I don't know if you caught that right there at the beginning. They kind of met in the middle. And that one is a custom HTML block from Mighty. And I uploaded a picture and said, this is what I want. I use Adobe Illustrate because I know it, but PowerPoint also works really well to lay out kind of visually how you want it to look. And then I worked with it. Again, I like the responsiveness aspect. Let's see if it will, I think, yeah. That's why I don't use Storyline, is Storyline just doesn't give you that flexibility. You'll see a few other places where I've done that as well. Hacked into just the column thing and added styles around the images because I wanted them to be just nice little icons instead of massive images in the columns. And so there's just so many opportunities to do some fun things. Here's one of the interactives. Again, I drew this up in Illustrator, uploaded it in there and worked with it. This one took a little bit longer because I wanted to add in a morph transition. And so you can see this little knob morphs out. Again, I'm not a developer. I just use Claude and ChatGPT to do all of these things.
Was this another one of those where you designed it, uploaded kind of your final state, and then you just really
Yeah.
worked out with Claude to kind of have it build out HTML? You tested it, gave feedback, and it just
Yeah.
went back and forth for a while?
I did full transparency. This one, because I wanted the morph animation, I actually uploaded each portion as an SVG because SVGs allow you to do that. So that morph transition. And so that's really where I was able to do it. So I actually exported the image, uploaded the SVG code into Claude and said, have at it. Let's see if you can make it animate. And
I
it
got a
did.
couple of questions in regards to, is this responsive at all? Like how well does this respond?
Yeah, so it is responsive to the extent I did not change the alignment, but at least the text portion is responsive
Oh, nice.
and shifts through. If I want, because it's client work, I want to be aware of how much time I spend on certain interactions. If it were just my own portfolio, I probably would have changed the alignment, but I just ran out of time.
Yeah, then another question is like, as you're going through this experience, can you compare to the time it's spent in, like, if you were to build this in Storyline versus the time you're spending into building this with AI? What does
Yeah.
that comparison look like?
Um, uh, this one, because I was newer at it, took a bit longer. However, the next interaction I'll show you, um, it went really fast. Again, this was just, I uploaded an SVG. I'll get to the answer there, but I uploaded an SVG and said, animate this for me in Claude, and then I added that in. So some really cool things, but down here, I wanted to have this interactive where they were comparing how this company fits between. And I said, I want to have a checklist where they do this. I want it to be a table. And this would have taken hours and not looked as clean in time or in terms of storyline. Storyline wouldn't have had the ability for it to just grow naturally as the list goes. So, for example, they go through, they click it. If they get it wrong, it says incorrect. So here, have this. This took me about an hour to build this in Storyline,
Oh,
I, I don't know how long that would have taken. I'm assuming probably about 8 hours, and it just wouldn't have had the same appeal because you're blocked into a certain screen size. I hope that answers. So there is some give and take on that aspect. I do, when I am designing something the first time, I will try and give it commands like, make this so that I can use JSON to replace values in the future. So I have a flip card, a flashcard interactive that I'll share. But now anytime I want to use it again, all I have to do is go add in my new terms and definitions, and I'm off to the races. And
That's
so
awesome.
I really try to design initially so it's reusable later.
That's so cool. Yeah, I can imagine. I'm seeing a lot of great comments on the chat here that this might be a really fun thing, Kimberly, for us to maybe even take off and make a YouTube video for where you could really just kind of walk through your process of how do you take your design file and load that into Claude and build out and go back and forth and really kind of record that whole process. I feel like a lot of people would value
I'd love
kind of
that.
seeing your workflow. So
Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
definitely a lot of chatter about that. A lot
Oh,
of love for everything that you've been doing and how inspired they are by seeing your work.
well, thank you. I appreciate it. It's been, and that's the cool part about the Mighty tool is I feel like it has made it so I don't feel like I'm working in Rise. And Rise is great. There's so many advantages with the quick authoring elements, but after you've done so many courses in Rise, they all feel the same. And I wanted it to be very, very different in that. Um, so that's just this interaction. I actually have one more little snippet preview to share, kind of along the lines of not wanting to make it feel like Rise, that boring cover page. So just for a refresher, oftentimes you're kind of stuck with this, and they have some Rise templates. I wanted to go a little bit further. So I built this. Why, you got a kind of sneak peek, but I added in some animations. This is using the Rise cover image and the Rise title and the Rise start button. But what I did is I created the image in Illustrator, PowerPoint would work, and I uploaded it into Claude and ChatGPT. And I said, okay, let's see what we can do. I can't modify the HTML, but I can add custom JavaScript and CSS. So I want to take this HTML, and using JavaScript, I want to change it to look like this. And this one did take a while. It was worth it to me because I'm going to be doing about 10 hours worth of content using OSHA safety, and I will have many courses, and I wanted to have a template that I could use that would look different. And I uploaded it, and then we got pretty close. There were some tweaks that needed to happen. But then at the end, I said, ooh, wouldn't it be cool if I could animate that too? And so JavaScript did all of it. It even put in the custom HTML that replaces the existing HTML because I don't have access to the HTML in Rise to edit, but the JavaScript block just in the Power Up tools. I did this, and it was really fun to be able to replace that and have it look totally different. Have some exciting improvements that I want to do where I want to make this full screen. Thanks, Nate, for giving me that idea. but make this full screen and get rid of this menu so that it's just a splash screen and they click start exploring, go right into the course. And then in here, again, using that Power Up tools, I wanted to have a glossary. And I said on any page except for the title page, I want a little menu option to show, and then I want a glossary. And I even asked it to write safety related glossary terms. And I had a few things. I wanted it to be keyboard accessible. I wanted it to be mobile responsive. Let's see if I can get it to grab the edge. For some reason, I'm having issues. Come on. There you go. So I wanted it to be a beautiful mobile responsive experience. I also wanted it to be a live search function. So as you start typing, it will start searching. And then here, as they go through, they can tab through, expand, etc. I wanted to have this in here, and this was all Claude, ChatGPT, a little bit of Adobe Illustrator or PowerPoint, and then the Mighty tool that brought this to life. It wouldn't have been possible without the Mighty tool.
Yeah, and I think that's a key factor is you are not a developer. You're just
No.
working with these AI tools and going back and forth and giving it instructions and really just trying to work out your ideas with it as your kind of companion developer to build all these things. So really in a lot of similar shoes that many of you are on, where you've got thoughts and ideas and you're just restricted on capabilities of building things, but really utilizing the interactive HTML custom code with Mighty and AI tools like Claude or ChatGPT to kind of be that person
Yeah.
to unlock you.
And that is the fun part is I feel like from an instructional design perspective, I have a lot of expertise and graphic design is one of my skill sets, but I am not a coder. I have tried taking a couple of classes and I sit there with my eyes glossed over. The only good thing is that it's given me that enough terminology that I can prompt it better in ChatGPT and Claude. Like I know what a function is, and I know what basic CSS structure is, really basic, and have been able to do that. But layering on my expertise with that is where it's really great. I don't feel like AI could do it all on its own. So I don't feel like it can totally take my job. But it's been a lot of fun. And I was playing around with John as he was testing out his demo, and he even added confetti at the end. I was like, oh, I'm going to do that. And all I had to do is say, hey, ChatGPT, can you add confetti at the end after oh, and these are the brand colors that I wanted to have. And it came up with that there. And so just some really fun things. The sky's the limit, and it's pretty exciting. So that's my demo.
Nice. Well done. Mic drop. I think everyone is super excited about the things that you've been chatting about. I'm sure many of you have questions for Kimberly as she's just really wowed us all on the things that she's been building. Would love to really open up the floor. Please unmute your mic if you want to chat. Ask any questions that you guys have in regards to either how Kimberly's doing some of these things that she's doing, or it could even be just a general Mighty question. But really great job, Kimberly, and really showing how easy it is and fun it is for you to be able to take these thoughts and ideas and implement them.
Well, thanks for building the tool. I know this is a Mighty based tool, but truly I am a fan. The tool is really powerful and more exciting things to come as I've been chatting with you.
Yeah. The question I've seen come up several times is Claude versus ChatGPT. We've kind of been throwing out two different AI platforms that you've been leveraging. Curious kind of when and why you would choose one over the other.
So I do have a point of view on this. I love Claude because I feel like it does more graphic design styles a little bit better than ChatGPT. I feel like with ChatGPT, you get the structure, but if you want to skip a few steps in terms of making it look nice, Claude does a better job, in my opinion. And what's nice is I really can give it the hex codes of the colors that I want it to use and the fonts. And a lot of the styling it takes care of. And so I feel like Claude does better in that. My only issue is Claude. I run out of subscription credits faster, and they don't have a great pricing model yet. I'm hoping that improves, where I can just buy more of that. And so I actually have two accounts. I still max out the hourly limit. And so that's why I'll use ChatGPT when I reach kind of that limit. But what's nice is ChatGPT has come a long way since I started doing it. And so it's really great if I have an issue where I'm like, oh, I can't get this fixed. What do I do? I can usually put it in and it will say, oh, you just need to fix this line of code. And so ChatGPT, I feel like it's better at troubleshooting.
Nice.
I apologize. I'm going to go off camera for 1 second.
Anyone else have any questions? Again, feel free to unmute if you want.
I will say we've got a lot of content ideas that came from the chat too. So as you guys are adding things, don't worry, we're making a list of YouTube videos that we can create, things we can add to the code catalog. So just know we are hearing what you're putting in there, and we'll definitely action that and let you guys know when it's up live.
Do you know with Claude, Kimberly, if you're using the Sonnet 3.7?
I am. So I use the most recent model as a default. I haven't had as much luck with the coding in the other models, but perhaps it's me. I don't know.
Nice. Cool. Anyone else have any questions they've got?
Thank you so much, Kimberly.
Hey, Jennifer, I saw you unmuted. You've got a question?
Just quickly, do you start with these prompts with the visual or do you start with text?
So like with what John did, sometimes I will just say, I want this, and it will get me close. And then if I want it tweaked a specific way, I can either prompt it to do that, or if I'm like, oh, you're just not getting it, so then I'll just draw it up. I've even uploaded just little pencil sketches, and I'm not, I can't draw. I am stick figure only level draw or artist, but sometimes I'm able to do that and just say, no, I really want this on the left and this on the right. So there is a little bit of give and take. It has learned my language and how I interact. And so it's gotten a lot better over the last few months as I've been using it. But sometimes I'll start with just, I want a glossary. Actually, the glossary I did just start with the text prompt, no visual. In fact, I never uploaded a visual for that one. And just said, I just want it to look really sleek, sophisticated, professional, mobile responsive, and keyboard accessible. So that one was actually a pretty fast one to make.
Nice.
Thank you.
Anyone else have any questions? Well, as we roll next into our demo, again, Kimberly, really appreciate you walking through that. I know that was very valuable for a lot of people to just see the things that you've been building, just to help people think differently about that interactive HTML block. We'll get back together, Kimberly and I and others. We're going to create some good YouTube content for you all because I know it's going to be very valuable for you to see her process. Which I think will go a long way for you guys to kind of understand what the workflow looks like for her. So, before I roll into the demo, I do want to remind everyone, for those who want to stick around for the demo, we'll jump into that. But our next meetup will be April 22nd. So again, that fourth Tuesday in April. So appreciate you all joining who were interested in more of the meetup side of things. And now we're going to roll more into the demo side. So as I roll into the demo of Mighty, I like to just really start out by letting everyone know that, again, if you're super new and unfamiliar with what Mighty is, Mighty is a pretty awesome Chrome extension that's basically adding functionality right on top of Articulate Rise product and is super integrated just right into the tool itself. And so as we look at our course here, you guys see this course, right? Sorry,
Yep.
I'm not. Okay, cool. Thanks. You're going to notice a lot of Mighty magenta colors all over the place. As soon as you install that Chrome extension, you can install the Chrome extension in both Chrome as well as Edge. So it does work in Edge. If you're interested in that, you just install actually the Chrome extension in Edge, and you can get up and running. Pretty easy to do. Free trial, no credit card or anything. We really want you guys to explore and play with Mighty before you dive in and purchase any sort of subscription there. If you do run out of your trial window and need more time, always feel free to reach out to our team, either through MC or you can hit me up directly or reach out to our support. Lot of really fun, rich resources that you'll find here in our Mighty Assistant, including this Maestro community. We've got this Mighty user space and our code catalog. So I know that came up a couple of times in the chat window and where all that lives. Brief high level. This is really just a fun place for us to get in, ask questions, share thoughts and ideas, share new feature requests. You could drop any sort of like bugs that maybe you're running into. We're in there all the time chattering with you guys. So MC is a really fun place to go. We also have a help center. On our help center, we just really try to keep high level documentation of all the Mighty functionality, from power-ups to blocks to mods. So I'm not going to in this demo window be able to really walk through all of those, but there's a lot of really fun functionality that we've added and we'll continue to add. And we'll just continue to build up this help center, as well as launching off of the help center. You can jump right into our YouTube channel. And hopefully you all subscribe to that because we're going to have a lot of fun videos coming out, I would imagine, over the next month and a half on some fun AI content. So we've got how-to videos and feature tutorials. And then we've also got our Mighty Meetup playlist here as well. So you'll be able to see all these meetups recorded and we'll post those there. Getting into more of the functionality of what Mighty really brings to the Articulate Rise product is really our intent was to let Rise do what Rise does best, which is the quick, responsive building of content, which it's awesome at. And there's tons of blocks right out of the gate. And if you've like hit kind of that ceiling and you want to explore more thoughts and ideas, that's really where Mighty comes into play. And it just adds all sorts of fun new functionality. Anything from the ability to select fonts at any point in your course and not be restricted with the header and body font. You can leverage those anywhere. You can start to get into more of this advanced world and look at HTML and do some of the interactive HTML block work, as well as in our power up some of the custom code. So there's this kind of like next level type functionality, but it also is really point and click. So as you're working in your course, and let's just go into kind of like a before example, and you want to make some modifications to some things. So like as an example, I'm not really a huge fan of my header font being here as part of my statements. And so what I could do is I could just use this universal light font and just automatically apply that to this statement block to make it really look more of what I would want my body copy to show up as. So I don't have to, really worry about, okay, well, where all is my header font going to show up? Where's my body font going to show up? You not really get more of that control back, like you would if you were in Storyline. You also get full customization of all sorts of blocks, and that's where we get into some of these fun Mighty mods, where you can go through and just modify any real experience with any of these blocks. Like if I want to override the background color, we've also got fun color pickers, and I can just snag a color from anywhere and change the background color of this note card and make this a little bit more like a rounded card, removing this border, giving it a fun little drop shadow feel. So like really starts to kind of elevate what your notes experience looks like or attachment experiences look like, and really just taking a lot of the existing Rise blocks and just add on a set of configurations that we really felt should have always been there that help take some of these block experiences and make them reusable, just so that we don't get into that same stagnant feel of what our courses could feel like. Anything from numbered lists or bulleted lists to changing out the style of these. We can tighten up the padding here, make that a little bit tighter, change up your bullet size. You can even remove numbered lists and make them alphanumeric or Roman numeral. So all sorts of fun options that you can do there. You also can get into fun modifications with layouts on some of these blocks. With the image and text block, like as an example, this is a 50-50 split is what you typically get. There's kind of customizations you can do where you can say like, well, I want my image to be a little bit larger, but it doesn't give you a lot of freedom to get into more of what we offer here, where it's like, no, maybe I want more of iconography and I have an icon on the left and I can really like throw that off to the left-hand side. I can top align that. I can hide the caption entirely. So like really just gives you a lot of fun, creative freedom to play around with a lot of these blocks. And as I mentioned, a lot of these are in the Help Center. As you can see, this section here is just all sorts of fun modifications that we've created to existing Rise blocks. The next thing that we've got is our own stance on blocks. So Rise has its own built-in blocks. We've got new blocks that we're introducing. Anything from a transition block. This is more like a visual block where you can see instantly I can add fun transitions into my course. I don't have to leave Rise and go build these transitions outside in like a Photoshop, Canva, Figma tool, export an image, load it in, try to figure out how to get it to fit right. You can actually just build all these fun transitions. We've got crazy fun presets we've built. You can get into all the wild fine tuning and build up any sort of fun transition that you want to build inside of your course. As well as with transitions, you can also do another fun experience, which here's another fun feature. As an author, flipping between lessons, you could actually take images, like a background image, and you can mask it. So all I did is I just created a background image using the spacer block. I drop in a transition over top of it, and it masks my image automatically for me. And again, you can play with all sorts of settings there. This is more like an after. So again, you can go crazy with font sizes. Here's more like a custom style note card, replacing icons and adding these fun transitions and breaking up lists and having them carry over list numbers across blocks. You can autoplay videos, which I'll show in more like a preview set. Another block that we've built, which I know a lot of you love, is our reflection block. So back in our block library here, this reflection block really is intended on kind of an open-ended question that maybe you want to start to ask your learners in your course, get a little bit of interactivity with them as they're maybe wanting to take notes along the way. you could ask them an open-ended question, and not only asking this question, but also storing their answers inside of your LMS. If you use Quorum 2004 XAPI, you could even have it download a PDF of anything that they had entered in, as well as future enhancements we're going to add where you could actually even feed in a form fillable PDF template, which will be another YouTube video I'll show here in a little bit, where you can really just like collect a bunch of questions and then fill out a worksheet along the way, and then have people download that and run with it and take that kind of on their journey as they leave your course. So lots of ways that you could use more of like a reflection type question throughout your course. And then last but not least, another fun block that we had built here is a reverse hotspot block. So this really gets into more like a knowledge check. We've got an image here and we want you to kind of spot the thing that we're looking for you to learn. So I've seen people use this for training on new software, maybe that you're implementing at your organization, of like, okay, we've gone through and we've taught you how to do X, Y, and Z in this new software. Here's a screenshot of what that software looks like. Where do you click? And getting the learner to click on the right spot on this image, giving them the right feedback that they need, and making sure that they can go through successfully this scenario, which would then complete and allow them to move on to the next thing. And this gets really fun. Really, you just upload an image. You can drag and drop in your hotspots locations and kind of really play around with where those clickable targets are. You can add feedback based on those. You could also add hint messages. So if they fail 3 times, give feedback type things. So all sorts of fun interactions that you can do here. And again, just the beginnings of some of the blocks that we've built up. You can go wild like Kimberly and build up any crazy fun interactive that you want to do with the interactive HTML block, and either a developer on hand or using something like a Claude or ChatGPT AI to build you a fun custom interactive, and just dropping those right into your course. So more blocks to come as we're continuing to work through some fun things there, but those are the existing blocks that we've added. Other fun things that we've got, again, a lot of this is really for you as an author, and adding more control and freedom is this quick sort option. So I know a lot of you have probably felt the pain of, oh, I want to move around blocks, and it's very time consuming to do that. But now with our quick sort, you can actually just quick jump to different parts of your course. Funny enough, I was on a call earlier today with one of our designers, and he was talking about a block lower in this lesson. And instead of me trying to scroll to find it, I just literally open up the quick sort, jump down. I'm like, oh yeah, we're talking about this process block. So I can actually use it now as like a fun quick nav too, which is cool. But this quick sort's awesome. You're able to just like select the blocks that you want. You can even select a groupings of blocks and really just move them to where you want, using command or shift clicks or control clicks, and move them to the locations that you want. And you'll see instant moves happen, getting blocks to be in the right location, which really, to try to do that without the quick sort feature, as we've all felt that pain, it just takes quite a while to do. So just to wrap up, all this fun functionality is really just intended for authors, and needing the extension is really more of an authoring type thing. When it comes time to publish, all the publish functionality is built right into the extension. And then once the course is published out to Review 360 or to your LMS, all of the Mighty functionality just bundled right in there. And anywhere you ship the course, regardless of what your subscription status looks like, all that Mighty functionality will fully work everywhere. So really, you guys will have the superpower of building really awesome, new, innovative Rise courses, and your learners won't need to know any difference other than being wowed by some of your fun creativity that you've done. So that's a quick rundown of the Mighty Chrome extension and the Mighty product. Really appreciate you all joining and sticking with me through the demo. As always, if you have questions, feel free to reach out to us on Maestro Community or via email. We love to jump in and answer any questions there. That's all I got.
I will be posting the recording, so if you guys want to watch it and watch it again, or slower speed, you're able to do that. So I'll have that posted probably by the end of the day. It takes a bit to process, And like I said, we took a lot of great notes on follow-up videos that we'll be creating off of this. So if you have any other ideas of something that would be helpful, like John said, you can always reach us in community. But thanks so much to Kimberly for being willing to be our customer spotlight, and thanks to Pinkster for running the show again.
Of course.
Hey, have a good day, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.